Ian here with Simpawtico Dog Training, and welcome to our video version of the Swiss Army knife. Our goal here is to introduce you to our ground zero tools so you get the most out of working with your dog. If you're watching this, it means you're either enrolled in a level 1 group class like Puppy 1 or Basic, or you're about to start private training with us. Either way, the goals are the same. We want to establish a system of communication with our dogs, we want to use food efficiently as lures and rewards, and we want to teach our dogs how to engage with us. In fact, this short video will culminate in your very first homework assignment. So let's get into it. First off, we need to establish a system of communication. You're going to hear many times that your voice is your #1 training tool. The right hardware is helpful, of course, food and toys are helpful, of course, and the right environments are important too, but nothing comes close to your voice as a powerful tool in your arsenal. As such, we're going to use our voice for good, productive feedback. Feedback needs to be 3 things. It needs to be ongoing. It's a running commentary on your dog's performance. You almost can't say enough. It needs to be binary. That is to say that it's right and wrong, positive and negative. Don't make it a guessing game. Be very clear. And it needs to be analog, meaning that it's analogous to how our dogs are doing. It's representative of their behavior in that moment. Not 3 seconds ago, right now. If they were being bad 3 seconds ago, but they're being good now, you have to say so. We also use markers as part of our feedback. Markers are precise tools for pinpointing moments in time. We use the same markers every time, and as your dog becomes more fluent in the marker system, they will understand direction better and learn faster. The 3 markers we use are yes, good, and nope. Yes is what we call a terminal marker. It comes at the end and tells your dog they did exactly what you wanted them to. It also releases them from the behavior so they can move to access their reward. This is your most important marker, and it must be timely, within 1 second of getting what you want for it to register properly.
Sit. Yes, good girl. Sit. Yes.
Good is what we call a support marker. Good communicates that your dog needs to keep going, to remain in the behavior. We use good to stabilize a dog, and in contrast to yes, we will feed the dog in place.
Good. 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 Yes! Good girl.
Nope is what we call a no reward marker, and we use it to pinpoint mistakes. Essentially, it means try again, and being able to try again and be successful is an important part of the learning process.
Nope. Sit. Good. 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 Yes! Good girl, sweetie. Super. Wow, that was so good.
In these beginning phases with your dog, though, nope can diminish their drive and kill their enthusiasm. Well, we don't want that. We want dogs to want to try, to work through problems, and to see training situations as fun puzzles to solve. So in these beginning phases, we're going to hold off on nope and just ignore mistakes. When the dog is through the learning phase, we can use nope to shape things up. Just be patient. Using food to train is pretty universal in its use in animal training. We're going to use a lot of food in the early stages, but we're also going to start fading it out almost right away. Food is a great training tool, but it's easy to become dependent on. You don't want a dog that will only perform if you have food. First, pick a healthy, palatable food. You want something small, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, depending on the dog. Stay away from big crunchy things like milk bones or bacon strips. At Simpawtico, we predominantly use small, smelly bits like these Pet Botanics training rewards or these Stewart freeze-dried liver treats. You can use whatever you like and what you can handle well. Depending on how food motivated your dog is, you may be able to use your dog's kibble to train. My own dogs are so food motivated, I just grab a scoop of kibble and work with them. Next, how we hold the food may seem unimportant, but it can greatly affect our efficiency as we work. Put the food between your index and middle finger. Pin it there with the end of your thumb, and cup your hand slightly. This way your dog's teeth will hit the padded parts of your fingers and palm, but won't quite be able to get the food. Not only do we have better control of the food, but we also get control of the dog's head. This is how we use the food as a lure to manipulate the dog in space. When we're ready to let the dog have it, we simply move the thumb. This is better than other methods where we either tend to drop the food, or the dog gets the food when we don't want, or we get our fingers chomped. This also provides a nice big target for your dog. Targeting is a skill that we develop through our practice, and once your dog is good at it, your training will move much faster, especially as you progress to more difficult things. The final piece here in our system is to understand the two biggest motivators to a dog. They are hunger drive and prey drive. Hunger drive is the biological need to seek and obtain food. We attempt to appeal to hunger drive in order to motivate a dog to work through training. We also typically reward the dog with food. There are pros and cons to this. On the pro side, all dogs are motivated to some extent by food. With food, a high number of repetitions in a short time is possible. Using food also tends to produce lower arousal levels, which can be beneficial for teaching passive behaviors like down or stay, for example. Food is also unmatched for use in classical conditioning, which we use mainly for behavior problems. The drawbacks of food, however, are that hunger drive does not intensify with rehearsal. In fact, it tends to diminish during a training session as the dog fills up. Thus, active behaviors in high-energy situations tend to render food less useful. Hunger drive also generates lukewarm motivation in many pet dogs. Working breeds, for example, that want to move and do things tend to find food less appealing. Also, as I mentioned, training can quickly become dependent on food if it's not used properly. Prey drive, on the other hand, is one of the most motivating forces for a dog. It is the biologically driven desire to chase and acquire things. Mother Nature has designed this to be more rewarding than actually having the thing they were chasing. This is why so many dogs are aroused by tennis balls, squirrels, and people running. For this reason, we amplify the value of food rewards by having the dog chase them.
Yes. Good job, buddy. Good. Yes. Good job.
Over time, we usually try to transition from food rewards to toy rewards, which also appeals heavily to chasing. Prey drive increases in intensity with rehearsal. That is to say that the more the dog chases a thing, the more motivating that becomes. We harness this enthusiasm and funnel it into engagement. If your dog is confused by this, especially one that's used to having food always given to them, be patient. Coax them, wait with them, and keep working. They'll catch on quickly and soon be moving and chasing. In this way, working with us becomes more intrinsically rewarding for your dog. Food becomes more rewarding, so we can still use it when the dog starts to fill up. And dogs with low hunger drive also find it more stimulating and motivating. For those working breeds we mentioned, who tend to have higher prey drive, you're absolutely speaking their language. This all plays into the concept of reward events, which you will learn about in class. Also, don't feed your dog right before class. Alright, your first assignment for class is going to be our engagement game. This will do two things for you. It'll teach your dog the marker system and it will foster engagement. Engagement is sustained focus and attention from our dogs, and it's a fundamental piece of working together. We can't teach them anything unless they're plugged into the process. And the more we cultivate engagement, the better they listen and the deeper our bond. Here's how it works. First, load up a whole bunch of pieces of food. This is a good one to do with dinner or breakfast. Practice in a neutral environment. You don't want a bunch of distractions killing your mojo here. Call your dog into attention. I just say something like, "You ready to work, buddy?" Have some little phrase you say every time you're going to start working together, and it'll soon become a conditioned call into attention. Start moving about the space. Face your dog and back away silently. We want your dog to voluntarily move towards you.
Yes.
You want to reward their choice to stay engaged. Your dog needs to feel like they have some control over the session too. They need to feel like they can make you do things. Move away when your dog gets distracted, especially if they're foraging on the ground. Try as much as possible to move in straight lines, left, right, or straight back. Arcing turns make targeting more difficult for your dog. Don't rely on just the food. Talk to your dog, pet your dog. Remember, your voice is your #1 training tool. Teach them good also. While your dog is sitting, use our good marker and feed them in place. Then say yes and explode into movement. This contrasting energy from stillness to action is very stimulating to a dog. Use it. As you practice, your dog will learn that when they hear yes, they're off the hook and they can move, and when they hear good, they should stay put. Remember that it's always words and then actions. This protects the dog from becoming too dependent on what our bodies are doing. They need to learn that words are important, so say yes and then move.
Yes.
Say good and then feed them.
Good. Good.
Also, we use auditory stimulators. These are sounds we make while the dog is in pursuit. Over time, these become conditioned triggers to motivate your dog.
Yes. Good job, buddy. Good.
Keep working and rewarding your dog for staying plugged in. This creates a kind of owner gravity. It's like you have an invisible bungee cord attached between you. As you practice, you should start noticing a few things. Your dog is staying engaged longer and more fully. Your dog is more frequently offering good behaviors without being asked. Your dog is moving faster and with more energy. Your dog's accuracy with targeting is improving. Keep the session short, fun, and dynamic. 5 to 6 minutes at a time is enough. Even just once a day will make a huge difference. End with a clear phrase. Mine is, "We're all done." You can use whatever you want, but say the same thing every time. You want to have a clear beginning and ending to a session. This preserves the integrity of the engagement and allows your dog to put their attention elsewhere. All right, that should keep you busy this week. Refer to your Swiss Army Knife PDF for more in-depth info and check out the learning sections on our website for even more. Keep learning, keep practicing, and we'll see you in class.